Hi guys, this is Connie, back for some more Connie Reads Crenshaw. I think we're going to be doing chapter 23 and chapter 24. So here we go. We'd only been living in our van for 4 days when somebody stole my mom's purse, which had most of our money in it because my dad's wallet was falling apart. After we told a policeman, he wanted to know our address, so if they found the money, they could give it back. We are between addresses, is what my mom told him. Ah, said the policeman. He nodded like he'd figured out a hard math problem. My parents and the policeman talked for a while. He gave them the address of 2 homeless shelters where people can sleep at night. The dads go to one place and the mom and kids go to another, he explained. No way, my dad said. Not happening. Robin said, we are car camping. The policeman looked at Aretha, who was licking his shiny black shoe. He said that no animals were allowed at either shelter. I asked if that included puppies. Sadly, he said. I told him my teacher, Mr. Vandermeer, had pet rats. Rats are especially not allowed, said the policeman. There are good rats and bad rats, I told him. I said white rats are like the ones my teacher had. Harry and Hermione were very clean animals, but wild rats could make you sick. Then I told the policeman how Mr. Vandermeer was teaching his rats to play basketball with a teeny ball for a science experiment. Rats are amazingly intelligent. Basketball, the policeman repeated. He looked at my parents like maybe they should be worried about me. Then he gave my mom a little white card with phone numbers on it. Social services, shelters, food pantry, free clinic, he said. Check back with us about the theft. Meantime, hang in there, folks. We were almost to the car when I heard the policeman call, Hey, rat man! I turned around. He waved me back. Then I got there, he said. How's their jump shot? The rats, I mean. Not so good, I said. But they're kind of learning. They get treats when they do something right. It's called I couldn't remember. It was 2 long words. Positive reinforcement? Yep. Yeah, I could use some of that myself, said the policeman. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled $20 bill. Give this to your dad, he said, but wait until you're in the car. I asked how come I had to wait. Because otherwise he'll give it right back to me, the policeman said. How do you know? I asked. I know, he said. When I was inside the car, I gave the money to my dad. He looked like he was going to throw it out the window. I thought maybe he was going to yell at me, but he didn't. He just tapped his fingers on the steering wheel. Tap, tap, tap. Finally, he shoved the bill in his jeans pocket. Looks like dinner's on me, he said softly. Chapter 24. The next day, we dropped my mom at her part-time waitress job. Before she got out of the car, she looked at my dad and said, We have to apply for assistance, Tom. We'll be back on our feet before they deal with all the paperwork, he said. Still, plus we probably make too much money to qualify for help. Still, they looked at each other for a few long seconds. Finally, my dad nodded. We went to an office called Social Services to find out about help. My dad filled out lots of forms while Robin and I sat on hard orange chairs. Then we went to 3 hardware stores where my dad put in applications for work. My dad grumbled about all the gas we used up. To cheer him up, I said maybe we could feed the car water instead. He laughed a little then. Not having enough work is tough work, my dad told my mom when she joined us in the car after her shift. He took a deep breath and blew it out hard, like he was facing a birthday cake with too many candles. Dad, I said, I'm kind of hungry. Me too, buddy, he said. Me too. Almost forgot, my mom said, reaching into her tote bag. I grabbed some of the bagels that the chef was about to throw out. She pulled a white paper sack. They're pretty stale, though, and they're pumpernickel. Well, that's a start, said my dad. He stared out the window. After a moment, he clapped his hands. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Guess I can't stall any longer. My mom touched his shoulder. Are you sure about this, Tom? She asked. I get my paycheck tomorrow. We could go to the food pantry or the shelter. Nope, I got this. He smiled, but it didn't look like a real smile to me. I'd rather do a little performance than stand in another endless line at some office waiting for a handout. We drove to the back of the restaurant. My dad found a nice clean box in the dumpster. Are you making the begging sign? I asked him. He'd been talking about it off and on with my mom since our money was stolen. Given that I'll be singing for our supper, he said, as he tore the box into pieces, I prefer to call it a request for gratuities. What's a gratuity? I asked. A tip. Money you give someone like a waiter, my mom said. When we were young, your dad and I used to be street performers before we had regular gigs. Lots of musicians do it. I've got this down to a science, said my dad. First off, you need a cardboard sign. Then you need a busy intersection. The best corners have long stoplights. It might not hurt to take Aretha, my mom said. People love dogs, I told my dad. I bet you'll make a lot more money with a dog. Can I borrow a marker, Jackson? My dad asked. I handed him my blue marker. That guy on the corner by Target, he has a puppy. My dad studied a cardboard rectangle. No prop puppies. Write God bless at least, said my mom. Everybody writes God bless. Nope. As it happens, I have no idea what God is up to. My mom sighed. My dad scribbled something on the cardboard, like he was in a hurry to be somewhere else. He held up the sign and asked what we thought. I didn't answer right away. In second grade, my dad got a D in penmanship, which is how you make your letters. He did not improve with age. What's it say? I asked. Thank you. Looks a lot like thank you. He shrugged. Even better. And that's the end of chapter 24. Be careful with that and enjoy. Please and thank you. And I will see you for the next installment. Have a great one.